Welcome in, everyone. Hope everyone's had a great weekend so far coming at you on a Sunday night. Keeping up the World Series of Pro Mod Magic, joined by Mr. Steve King, Chad Wright, and Jess here on the Motorsports Almanac. Guys, congratulations on the big win there at the World Series of Pro Mod.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Sir,
you.
thank you.
Yep. So just kind of take us through this whole winter series from start to finish. I mean, this was the first of its kind, big 3-race stretch, but you guys had quite a bit of time in between races. Did the car stay in Florida? Did you guys take it back home to work on it, make adjustments? Like what happened there? Just kind of take us through y'all's experiences with it.
Basically, I mean, we go to Florida every year for those. I mean, we're there for 7, 8 days, and every race the car goes back to Buffalo to the G-Force guys, to Mike Stewicki. Obviously, prepping it. Chad goes up like a week afterwards, right, Chad? Is that about right?
Yeah, right after as soon as they pull in on Monday and Tuesday, we're tearing the car apart the week after the race. So
Yep. So complete maintenance, and then another 18, 20 hour ride back down to Florida, and another week of racing, in January, late January, and then back up to New York again. The car goes uh, for full service. If you do not service these cars fully after each race, I think you're at a disadvantage.
he is
Yeah,
correct.
absolutely.
So when you do the service, it's from the front of the car to the back of the car. So we take out the transmission, the drive unit, the engine, the rear. We look at pretty much, we go over everything, especially the transmission and drive unit. We take it apart, look over everything. Engine goes back to Mike Stewicki. He does his magic, tears everything apart, freshens it up for us. And we have Jim Slimy's girlfriend, Mickey. She completely does a maintenance of the whole chassis, body. She cleans everything, looks over everything thoroughly. And if she sees something abnormal, she lets Jim Salemi know, owner of G-Force race cars, and he puts attention on that situation if need be. So that's pretty much black and white how we do it up there. So
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you guys are still probably riding the high coming off the World Series of Pro Mod win for sure. Just kind of take us through. There has to be some sort of notes that you can take from each race, right? From the beginning at Snowbirds to U.S. Street Nationals and then carrying it over into the World Series of Pro Mod.
Yeah, we do the Snowbirds. We qualify, which is a feat in itself, and then we're early exit. Same thing for the U.S. Street Nationals. We run well, but run up against Mark Mickey, who runs the record run against us. So then we come into World Series. We're kind of on a down note, to be honest with you. A lot of you starting to second guess yourself, even though you're qualifying for this quality of race. You start second guessing yourself. What's going on? Why are we not going rounds? And then we get a little bit of luck, and away we go for the World Series.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it seemed to be like the common theme of the past couple of years of World Series of Pro Mod. There just always has to be a little bit of luck involved. We've seen it in 2023. Spencer was the 32nd car qualified, goes on to win it, and then obviously Derek Ward and Jim Halsey had that story type final where they both had a little bit of trouble where they give each other time to help fix, and that ended the way it was. And obviously with early exits didn't help you, but you ended with a great high note by winning it. And you have to have those days. Like you said it in your interview, it was just one of those days. It was your day where all the cards fell right to you.
Yeah, 100%. I said that again, Jess, but when I woke up on Saturday morning, I told the guys, I said, man, I got a good feeling about today. And we go out against the Lard machine, and we go out there and probably don't make the most stellar run for the first round, but we get the win. Very close racing. If you beat any of these guys, it's going to be close. So you got to have your shit together. As we go through eliminations, everything just kept falling into place. And it was just like, here, this could be our day.
The craziest thing, though, is you're saying that you felt you had luck that day or even going into this race. I didn't. When we won that 50K, I had such a great feeling about that week. I wasn't nervous one time. I didn't feel that we weren't going to go rounds. I felt so positive and confident. This race, I really didn't because our luck wasn't great for the first two. So being this is the largest race of the year, my expectations weren't that high because the caliber was going to be that much more intense. There was going to be 20 more drivers, heavy hitters that didn't show up at the first two because their car was getting worked on or being finished for the start of the season coming up. So I was like, this, if we didn't do well the first two, are we really going to come out there swinging for this third one, the biggest race of the year? So I didn't. Even on elimination day, I was shocked every time we went rounds. I go, no way. No way. Is our ruck gonna run out? So that was crazy for me. So it's interesting, Steve, that you felt that vibe from.
Well, I feel like we're on the big stage. The World Series is the biggest stage, I think, set, period. But the first two, we was down. We wasn't winning. I think it wasn't that we didn't have a good car. We really did have a good car at both those races. We qualified, and during the daytime we ran well, and whether it was Jeff, John, Chad, everybody did everything right. We just run up against the wrong person at the wrong time. And when these races are settled by 001 at the finish line, you could be on the good side or the bad side.
And you ended up on that good side of that 001 because it was tight.
Every race, other if the other guy has a little bit of trouble, every race is 001, 002, 003 at the finish line, whether you leave on time, at the starting line, and if the crew chief hits the right things, whether the guys in the pit, whether it's Chad or Bubba or Jeff or John, everyone has to be perfect in what they're doing. One small bolt not tightened, it just goes through the whole process, and everyone has to do their job, and then you got to hope that guy don't break off a world record run on the other lane against you.
When we were at US3 Nationals, Steve, I remember going up to the chip drawer with you because I was filming, and I had such a great feeling about that second race. We were running really, really good. And I remember walking up with you and I said, damn, imagine if you pulled Mark Mickey. I really hope you don't get that guy. I don't know if you even responded, but what do you know?
I mean, I'll call those guys flat hoods. And everybody's so scared of these guys. They're scared of Jason Harris. They're scared of, I don't want to pull Mark Mickey. Yeah, he's going 56 at 220 mile an hour in the eighth, but everybody's beatable. Everybody.
For sure.
Everybody's beatable, period. And we have the car, we have the engine, we have the horsepower, we have the driver. There were certain things that we had to fix. Jeff Miller's like, we're going to do this. We're going to change this. Steve looks at us like we're crazy. Just shut up and drive. That's it. That's all you got to do. So we wanted, I had a great feeling too. Yeah, there was some luck. Luck is in every sport, from drag racing, tractor pull, sprint car, whatever. There's luck in this game. And when we pulled in Saturday, I had a feeling, it's like, all right, we have some good shit. It has to be our time. We had a struggle last few races of PDRA. We had a struggle through the eliminations through the first two Florida races. It has to be our time. And it was. King was on it. He stayed focused. We had a little mishaps between rounds a couple times, but my man kept us cool. We all kept our cool and see where we're at. I mean, you can see it right there. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's my man did it. All of us did it. It's a team. And we go back when you said about, you have a car chief, crew chief. To me, fuck the titles. It's team. That's the title. Team. That's it. Period. So.
Yeah, you have to stay confident and true to yourself because you know your capability. You know your car better than anyone on that property. And if you don't have that confidence, they're going to smell it in you. It doesn't matter what sport it is. If you don't have confidence in yourself and your setup, people are going to smell that. Like sharks, they smell blood in the water. And you have to have that confidence within yourself, and you guys did throughout the rounds. Did you have that, like, I understand you felt that that day was going to be good to you, but did the confidence just build throughout the day? Like you felt like your car was just getting better, yourself was getting better, your team was getting better throughout the rounds.
Oh yeah, the guys were thrashing. I mean, we had a couple little mishaps, a parts breakage, and everyone's getting after these cars. I mean, they're not going up there and not thinking if they got to blow it up, they're going to blow it up. They're going to burn it up, whatever they got to do to get the wind light. And these guys are working. I went up for a couple of chip draws. I mean, I got oil dripping off my hands. I went up one time with Jess, like we was really rushing, and all the guys from G-Force came over, and Jeff and Chad and Bubba, they was just thrashing, and I was trying to help, and I got oil all over me, and she come and grabbed me, and we run up to the chip draw, and
They already started pulling at that point. They already started pulling when we were late. We were late for round 2.
Yeah.
And you guys were really in the weeds with, whatever you were doing. And I was like, King, we have to go up. And he's like, all right. And we went on the golf cart. The lanes are backed up. We couldn't even maneuver the golf cart to the tent. And I'm like, pull this way, pull that way, go in between these cars. There's a little gap. And he pulled. We had to park far away from the tent. We're sprinting. And as we're sprinting, I just hear Craig and Gavin on the speaker saying, all right, so-and-so come up, and they're clapping. I'm like, oh my God, did they already call our name? Did we miss it? Are we now in the back of the line? Are we just getting whoever's left? And I don't know, maybe they called 4 more pairs out, and then they called Steve, and yeah.
They got an oily chip. What they got. I grabbed a chip, and it was a little bit of oil over. I'm like, oh, here you go. That's your all. Whoever it is, it is. Car's a champion. So, I mean, nobody wants to draw Jason Harris. Nobody wants to draw, Mark Mickey but all the cars are that tight, and we know we have a program that can run up front. So you're not going up there scared. You can't be scared. You're just going up there to cut the next guy's throat out when you pull up to the starting line. That's just the way it is.
Or girl.
Correct.
I don't think our team ever lacked confidence in our program or with each other. I think it was more just frustrating because we know we have good stuff, but the stars never aligned. I mean, last PDR race, we didn't even qualify. And then we're out, we qualified both of the first 2 Winter Series races, but we're out first round. And it's like you spend a whole week there, all the prepping and planning and work. And it's like, wow, like where's like, to showcase what we did, like where's the improvement? Where's a little bit, like we couldn't get anything. We didn't have a nugget to be like, you know what? Yeah, we did better. We made it a few rounds this one. We had nothing to show for it. I think it was frustrating more than anything.
Yeah, but you have to also consider too, there are NHRA Wally winners or world champions that didn't even qualify some of these races. I mean,
Right.
For our relation, the Sheltons, the first 2 races, those guys won NHRA Wally's past season. Kevin and Stan did, and they didn't qualify for the first 2 races. And the amount of guys that you can go down the list that didn't qualify, you're like, these guys can win it. These guys can win. This girl can win. It goes on and on and on. And say that you qualified, though, it's accomplished in itself. But you also know you don't want to be there just to qualify. You want to go there and go rounds and win.
That's it.
Gene Pilot is not there just to qualify. That's his motto. We're not here just to qualify. So even though we qualified for all 3 races, which is a pretty serious feat, I think, with that type of quality car, Gene preaches that's not where we want to be. He wants to be front, period.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. I kind of want to go back just a little bit. I know a lot of the interviews that we do, we always kind of go give a little bit of background of who we've got on in the past. Spencer, yeah, they're contracted there in Canada. Derek's got a small shop there. So for the listeners that do not quite know who you are, Steve, or Chad, or Jess, who is Pilot Racing in itself? What day job? What do you guys like to do besides, go out there and got people throw it on the starting line there at the races?
King, you start first.
Yeah, we got a whole group. I mean, Gene does his deal with the electric pump motors and stuff up there in Jersey. I'm not real familiar with all of it, but I know he does the electrical pump motors. We do site work, contractor work, like underground utilities and stuff, along with trucking. We got a trucking company as well and build a few houses a year. That's what we do. We come home after the race and right back to work on Monday, whether we have to work on the trucks or we're digging ditches or or putting roads in, or that's what our background is. That's what we do.
Chad, what about you?
So I own my own business. I am CJW Solutions. So what I do is I sell used parts to tractor pullers, drag racers, bracket racers, all over. I mean, it's from complete engines, Hemis, blowers. I mean, if you call Stan Shelton, or you call Jeff, or you call Kevin Campbell, RJ, I mean, everybody knows who I am. Like, oh yeah, we bought parts from him, or we had Chad sell parts for us. So that's what I do for a living. Been 3 years strong, so that's great. I've been in drag racing all my life. Since I was a little kid, my parents street raced in Youngstown, Ohio. That's where I'm originally from. And then I started the first pro mod scene with Carl Rossler Transmissions. Travel with him, cheating ass King and Jeff Miller over there. But anyway, I traveled with them, and then went on to different teams and got to know a lot of people. I met John Salemi in 2014 or 15, and I worked for a brewery, Cleveland, Great Lakes Brewery Company, Cleveland. And John Salemi asked me, he's like, "What is that in that bottle?" Because we had bottles with no labels on it. And it's like, "Here, try it." And rest is history with me and him. That is my best friend. And he brought me into the serious pro mod game. And he introduced me to Gene Pilot and Steve King and Jeff Miller. And I learned a lot from those guys. And that's who I am. So
Yep. Jess, that just leaves you. Talk to us a little bit about your background getting into all this mess.
I mean, I didn't have a choice getting into all of this. As I told you, my stepdad, Gene, is in charge of this entire operation. So since he came on with Steve and Jeff, I've been there since day one. But my day to day, actually, I have 2 day to days, which is insane. But my true 9 to 5, I actually work in Manhattan. I'm in the marketing industry. I place media for a Fortune 500 company. So I'm in the advertising world, and that definitely I've been doing it like 6 years at this point. So a lot of my knowledge in the marketing, social media space comes from that. And then a year ago, my second job came about, and that's where my small business ET Edits stemmed from. Um, Little backstory there. These guys introduced this car that we're racing now at World Series last year. And we were just, coming off a stretch of not having great success previously. And we debuted this car, and I was really trying to get my team in the spotlight. It's something we were lacking. And I was like, why are there never any articles on this group? They're so funny, they have great personalities, but they're never showcased. They're never spotlighted on the cover of anything as to do interviews. And I was like, I have such a good feeling about this new car. I'm going to make it at World Series in 2024 my responsibility, because these guys don't let me do anything. I can't even get the spark plug correctly. So if I can't do that, let me just take my phone out, and I'm just going to go crazy on social media. This is a huge race, especially that week at World Series. So I'm just going to document the entire race for them. Like, let's see what happens. We had like 1,000 followers on Facebook. Still, what wasn't known, I'd just do it a little bit on the side when I remembered. We come out to that race, I take my phone out and I record the first hit they've ever done with the car that we just won this race in. And the video got like 40,000 views in 2 days off like an iPhone 12. And I was like, what? I didn't even, I used the free editing app, and I was like, wow, okay, like people are really interested in us right now, because any car, any names at this race. Worked through that the whole week, and I had fun doing it. And I was like, you know what? I said, Gene, do you want this to be my job? If I can't do anything else, you want to invest in me and buy me a little camera? And he did. He got my original equipment, my startup set for me. And he's like, fine, if you want to be our social media girl, like you do it. I look back at the videos from World Series, like that was cool what you did, even though I look at them and they're trash. But he got enjoyment out of it. He's not on social media. He just likes it from memory. So I was like, all right. And PDRA was the first time I came out with my equipment. And I documented from testing to the end. And the rest, honestly, was history from there. My first client was Derek Ward. And what was interesting about that is he just came off his win. He didn't even have a social media page. And I said, let me help you. I know a little bit about the space. And I accumulated a lot of cars. And, I do work now for Stevie Fast, Lyle Barnett. I have him this entire PDRA season. So I work with a lot of the drivers at the track, big outlaw races, full season at PDRA, and I just help boost their social media presence.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you were with Derek last year whenever we were getting him interviewed right after his race win from
Was I
the
with
World
him?
Series of Pro Mod. Yeah, you were doing his social media stuff by then, weren't you?
No. So when he won, and that was what, March of 24. I didn't see him until April, which was the start of PDRA. I didn't approach him till the second PDRA race. And because I didn't think anyone was going to hire me, I was just doing it for my team. But actually, NC Pro Modder is the person who planted it and seeded it in my head and said, well, if you're doing this for your team, why don't you see if someone would pay you for it? I'm like, no one's going to pay me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm pressing one button, like on the camera. I don't know anything about settings, or I'm just doing this for fun to help my team. He's like, it's pretty good. He's like, why don't, Derek Ward just won. I think he just started his page. Why don't you talk to him? And I was like, are you sure? Like, I don't want to be denied. But I just took a shot and I messaged him, and we never had a relationship before that. And I said, congrats, Derek, on your win. I see you just got a social media page. Would you be interested in videos for PDRA? You're running it with us this season. And he responded right back and was like, hey, Jess. He's like, yeah, like let's talk this week. Got on the phone, and then the rest was history. So yeah, I wasn't with him at that actual race.
Okay.
We were filming for him at least.
I find it kind of funny though, because I was at the that Galot race, but our paths, like, we didn't know each other and our paths hadn't crossed yet. That's kind of a small world type of deal. But just seeing, so World Series of Pro Mod was really and truly the first race I've sat down and watched from qualifying in Q1 all the way to the finals on finals night. Just what is it like between rounds with you guys? Because I know with us, like, we don't have to worry about waiting unless, like, we're last class or something like that. With our classes, we're typically first, right? And just how do y'all keep calm, and how does that affect you guys mentally, knowing that you have a time crunch to a degree, but you also know who you're racing?
I mean, it
These
gets
rounds went quick in between.
yeah. Some of them went quick, right? The first round or so wasn't terrible, but after the first round into the second to the third, they started speeding up. Less cars. They're speeding up, trying to get the race in before it gets really, really late. And the pressure builds each round. And then if you have some transmission damage, I don't even know if we really realize how much time's in between it, because everybody's thrashing. So there's not a lot of time to get worked up. You're thrashing. You got parts thrown out and motor. I think between second and third round, we throw the motor in like 35 minutes. So
Oh, wow. So y'all
Yeah.
took it completely out and had it replaced in about 35 minutes in.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Steve, you and I go to the chip draw. That was going into semis. We go to the chip draw and we come back, and I'm sitting down to edit, and my phone goes off, and they sent that WhatsApp message 15 minutes to the lanes, and we just pulled that golf cart back into our pit. And I was like, guys, they said 15 minutes. I'm like, what are we gonna do? And then that's when the thrashing occurred.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts flying. Chad's in there. I mean, elbow deep. We got the whole crew from G-Force there, Jeff, and them. I mean, just parts going everywhere. And 35 minutes later, we come back, we fire it up.
The main thing that really honestly scared me is when I took the cylinder head off because we had to change a couple pistons.
That was a
I
different
took
round.
the cylinder head off and we broke a head stud, and you don't keep those as spares. As soon as I looked down, I looked at John Slimmy's son Evan, and it's like, hey, we broke a head stud, and they're big, and we're like, what are we gonna do? And Kai Kelly, I mean, came for the rescue, man, and gave us a head stud. I mean, Eddie Whalen from Melanie Slimmy Motorsports, he had a head stud, but we had Kai's, right away, and we appreciate Eddie for doing that also. And
Yeah,
that
Eddie.
was a scary point. I mean, when you break a head stud, it's like when you put your hand down there, it's like, all right, is this thing gonna back out of the block? And when I start turning it, then I was relieved. Then, okay, can we get a head stud? And then we had a head stud. That was the main thing. And then when I put the cylinder head back on, the World Series official came over and he's like, hey, how much time you need? I was like, man, we need like 30 minutes. And this is going to the semis with Jason Harris. And he looked at me, he's like, I don't think I'm going to give you that much time. And then
Didn't you already send me to Jason Harris's pit?
yeah, and then I send Jess down to Jason Harris, and it's like, hey, we need more time. I mean, to me, when you're racing, you don't want to be the only guy up there making a run against on $150,000 race.
Mm.
I mean, and Jason's very close to me and very close to Pilot Racing. He's like, we want to race each other. Do what you need to do. And then rest after that, I was like, all right, we're good. We're good. We're gonna win this motherfucking deal. Period.
When I went over there, I mean, I took my scooter and ran, and I'm like, out of breath. I'm like, Jason, I was like, Chad just sent me over here. They just need a bit. And he goes, okay. He's like, I'll give you as much time as they'll let you. Like you could tell he cared, and we have such a great relationship with him, especially over the last PDRA season. I mean, he would have never went to the lane without us, without our team.
Nope. And Stevie needed some time as well. Stevie needed some time. He was, I think he was putting a motor in as well. So these cars are not half-hour turnaround cars.
Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously the show is trying to speed up and get done, but sometimes, I mean, we break. I mean, you're running them so hard. There is something going to happen every run, especially at that caliber of cars. It's gonna break. There's stuff going to happen.
Right, and they know, as the promoters of the race, they want to put on a show for the fans, and the fans obviously also don't want to see one car up there. They want to see the best of the best go head to head and put on a show, because that's what you guys are there for. You guys are there to put on a show, but also do it for your own and prove that you deserve to be there.
Steve, right. I don't know if I asked you this. Being that you work on the car and you're thrashing, and I look over at all you guys working on the car. I mean, you guys are all running around, throwing tools, and literally like chickens with no heads, hurrying, getting it fixed, putting it back together. Are you like frazzled when you put the car back together and you're about to get into the seat? Like, how do you clear your head after just like scrambling like that? To be in that mindset, to be like, all right, like I gotta be on the tree. I gotta like take a breath. Like, how do you feel?
You have to have confidence in the guys you have there, period. And we've all done it so much. I know that what everyone's doing is done right. And Gene preaches this: you do your part of the deal and you do it right. And so even during the thrash, we come back from the chip draw and okay, we start the car, warm it up. I run in, put the fire suit on, come back out, adjust the valves real quick, whatever. Everybody throws the valve covers on and away we go. And kind of when you get in the staging lane, it's kind of like you take a big deep breath and okay, now it's time to race.
Were you ever so frazzled or so wired that maybe, did you ever say to the guys, all right, you guys finish it up, like I just need 5-10 minutes, step away, like get a drink and just like kind of just like chill out before like you got to get suited? Like, do you ever have to do that?
I've never seen that from Steve. Steve, I'm probably going to answer this for him. From being around Steve these past 2 years, it doesn't matter if we're in a local race at Empire Dragway or the World Series. Steve, he gets in there, he works on engines, He does what he needs to do. I never seen Steve frazzled. I never seen him like losing his mind. It's like, we need a rush. He never rushes anyone. We tell him, Steve, we're ready. Okay. He comes out when we put the front end on, we check for fuel, we put the car on the ground. Steve's like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like he's calm. And then when he goes up to the stage lanes, yeah, he paces back and forth, but he talks to people. He talks to the other drivers. He talks to us. And when he's in the car,
Don't talk to him.
he's probably one of the calmest drivers. And we're on a radio joking with him. We say stuff that it's not appropriate for the air, but I mean, he's very calm. And it's certain drivers I've seen and met, they get so hyped up and it's like rush. Steve is like, it's chill. And I honestly think because no joke, he is a Southern boy. And everybody, those Southern dudes are calm. It's like, it is what it is. He can't control everything. You can't. And his mindset's like, I'm going to do the best I can. And that's it. And that's how Steve is. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's my experience with Steve King. He's very calm.
Agree?
I agree. I stay calm. I talk to people. I pace. I get worked up in my own way, I guess you could say. Once I get in that car and I'm good, we can talk. But when I start that car up, there ain't a lot of talk. Once that monster up front there fires up and you hear that thing running, and I'm done talking. And it's a different mindset once that thing starts up. And, I've heard the other drivers say that, once the car starts up, some people strap in maybe 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early, and they're sitting in the car trying to get in the zone. I'd rather be outside the car myself, whether bullshitting. That's my way of relieving, I guess you could say, stress. I bullshit. I'll give Chad some shit, Jess some shit, whoever. And when I get in the car, we talk on the radio, maybe a few things probably we shouldn't talk about. But when that car starts up and I do a burnout, ain't much talking going on. I done move to a different stage, and I want to chop the dude's head off next to me once that happens.
Sometimes you're quiet in the lanes, though. I think if it's a really, I mean, they're all important rounds, but sometimes you are quiet. Like sometimes, like I'll watch you if I'm like filming you, and you kind of like just walk away. If we're all like grouped around the golf cart, all bullshitting, sometimes you'll walk to the very front, off to the side, and you guys, again, you just pace. And sometimes I think you just need to be by yourself.
I think that's a lot of drivers. You get in that zone. I guess you could call it the zone. When you look over there, like the World Series, every driver is a badass, every single one. So when you go to that race, it's even a different perspective, I guess you could say. So every round, it's like a final round. So you better get your game face on. I try to stay calm, but the final round at the World Series, the music was playing and all the lights in the stands. I'm not going to lie, the hair stood up on the back of my neck a little bit, but once the car started up and do the burnout, then it's back to business.
You acted different that final round. I told you this. It was the same energy as when we won the 50K. And I can't even explain it. Like, do you know how you felt? Like between both, like you acted different. It was very confident, but it was like, I'm ready to get it on. I'm confident. Like, let's go. Like you didn't want anything in your way of doing that burnout. You're like, let's go. Let's go. And they were quick. They're like, all right, you literally got suited and away you went. Like there was no sitting. They were ready for you.
It's like any sporting event. I mean, Michael Jordan doesn't get worked up. And that's the way I see it. You're going up there. You have a job to do. So you got to get focused on the thing at hand. And maybe I wasn't like on the tree in the final. I was 50 to his 20. So I feel like I didn't do my job there, but we still got to win. John and them put a great tune up in the car and we go out there and win. So it's a group different. Sometimes I'm not there, they're there. Other times I'm there and they're not there. So you do it as a group, but you have to go up there with some type of confidence. If you're not confident going up there, you're getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
And like you said, you got to clock in work because obviously the starting line, we've seen it in a lot of different portions of drag racing as of late, you have to cut a insane light. I mean, I understand you didn't have the greatest light that you wanted there in the final, but every round you have to be low, because if you're not low, you don't want to be chasing. It's we've seen what 20s, 30s lights in average that you want to be in, because if you're not on the light, boy.
If you're not 30 or better, I think you're already up shit creek. That whole weekend at World Series, I changed visors. I changed my trans brake button. I changed my procedure, how I'm looking at the tree, just trying to improve my light because of the competition level.
Yeah. So coming off y'all's World Series of Pro Mod win, season starts for you guys roughly about a month from now. How is that going to carry over going into the PDRA season? Because I mean, you guys are one of the, if not the toughest pro mod groups out there. So how does your mindset change based off of this, or does it?
Well, we hope to carry the momentum into the PDRA season. Pro Boost, it's very similar to World Series, other than there's not 83 cars. There's only, say, 25 or whatever we have there, but everyone's badass there too. So you have to run your best run every run. Your ass better be on the tree. And after winning the World Series, we're going to have a bullseye on our back. So they're all going to be looking like, we're going to take this guy out. He don't win the World Series. We want to kick his ass now. So, yeah, we're going in there with some momentum, but we got to prove ourselves.
I mean, 90% of the cars we race in the Winter Series is pretty much PDRA cars. I mean, that's when we looked at the field at the World Series, it's like it's pretty much all of us, all PDRA, and we're like, holy shit, this is going to be it's going to be just like this when we roll in April at Goliath, So we know we had to get our shit together, and we're going to carry our momentum, like King said, into PDRA. I mean, the World Series was a huge win for us. Like, winning a PDRA race also, it's going to be big too. And that's our goal. That's Gene Pilot's goal. That's Steve King's goal. We need to win a PDRA race. When we win the PDRA race, we made a fucking statement also. So it's big in the World Series, but PDRA is big also. So we need to carry what we got, keep rolling. We got the best of the best shit, and I'm ready to win in April. So,
and
yeah. I was trying to make sure he didn't freeze. It froze on my end there for a second, but Wyatt, anything else you wanna add on to this?
No, I was just gonna say it speaks to the caliber cars. Go back to PDRA. It speaks to the caliber cars that comes out of that association. That whether it's PDRA into the Winter Series, you have to bring that momentum over, but PDRA sort of prepares you for the Winter Series, but the Winter Series also sort of prepares you for the PDRA, because the caliber cars are going to be there, and the type of driver you have to be to compete and be the top and be the best in that association.
Correct.
So,
even with John Salemi, I mean, he's in our trailer, he's our tuner, and his mind is going absolutely crazy. I mean, he's tuning his wife's car, he's tuning our car. We see the bump. He's like, he has to put the tune-up in, and he has the most stressful and important job in drag racing, period. And he is in the top 3 caliber of tuners. But, when you go into one of these races, World Series and PDRA, I mean, it's a lot to take in. You got to make sure the car's set up for the driver, and then the tuner. All right, King, we got to run 60 to get in, and Wes pulled me to the side. I'll never forget. He pulled me. We went a 60, 65 or 64 out the trailer, and it's like he don't see us smiling. It's not good enough. Yeah. We know what we have. We know what we need to do. And, he saw that in us. It's like, they're serious and we're fucking serious. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal for us from the last few races from PDRA, the couple races in the Winter Series. We need it. We need it. So going in 2025 PDRA, we will do some fucking damage, period. Period. No excuses.
Yeah, I want these guys to go with wanting such redemption because we didn't qualify that PDRA World Finals, and that was maybe one of 2 times this team ever didn't qualify for a race. The bump was something crazy, wasn't it? Like low 63 or something. I mean, we were right on the edge. We were like 17, 18. And it was so upsetting because that's all we wanted was a win. And our car was even good that weekend. And we didn't make the field. And it was just like, damn, all right, we could just pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and move on and try again next year. So I'm hoping that this win propels these guys to just keep it up, keep the work up, and Steve doing what Steve does, and the guys thrashing, and the energies are there right now. So I think that'll be in our favor.
Yeah.
I think it also tells you how stiff the competition is.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, exactly right.
The competition is unbelievable. Everyone stepped up across the board in Pro Modified. I don't care if it's Pro Boost, the Winter Series, wherever. Everyone stepped up. And in return, not only does the tuner, the engine builder, Jeff Miller, Chad, my son, everyone has to step up. One little hiccup costs you from qualifying. I mean, a parts breakage, a 10-cent part could cost you, not even getting in the field. Even in, PDRA, it's not 83 cars, but Pro Boost is the tightest class in drag racing. I think it's tighter than, to be honest with you.
No, I
Yeah,
totally agree with that.
there was
From
a,
what
there was
I
a
saw. Yeah.
there was a crazy statistic I heard about the World Series this year that Tommy Franklin's qualifying number for the World Series of Pro Mod in 2023 would have been number 2.
Yeah.
Number 32 would have been number 2, and that it's for someone outside looking in, that's insane when you think about it. That is 63. How insanely quick and fast that is would have been way at the top then. But it speaks just how good these teams, like yourself and the rest of them that you compete against, are. That a 63, how insanely fast that is barely qualifying.
Yeah, they said Spencer was going to be like late 50s, like number 56.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it tells you where the world of Pro Mod is, and it's exciting, and it's it's the place to be and what you need to watch, because it is insane competition every round, every race.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's a job, and what we do, and sometimes we don't really talk about this, but I think it needs to be brought up. We took on this type of racing, and we're leaving a lot of stuff in behind, like our home, our business, our wives, kids, family vacations, and grandkids' birthdays. It's like we have to thank them for letting us do what we need to do. I mean, we're gone so much, and we miss so much of family stuff and friend stuff, and they're not always there at the racetrack, and we have to tell them, hey, thanks to our wives and family for letting us do what we need to do. So that's a big part. If you didn't have that support, this wouldn't be shit. I mean, it wouldn't be you wouldn't be talking to King and I at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's leaving his business to go do what he loves, but you're taking that risk, because you're taking that risk leaving your business, and on Monday you come back, it's like, all right, I won the World Series. I have 4 of my fucking trucks broke down. My side, I got 15 people to send tractor pulls, send parts to, and they're yelling at me. It's a lot of risk taking. You know what I mean? There's a lot of risk, and we want to thank everyone in our families and friends allowing us to do what we're doing. Period.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people talk about that. Not a lot of people talk about that. And
Yeah.
King knows, and Jess knows, I'm a sensitive and emotional dude, and it's not about the glory of racing, and it's about our significant others and families that allow us to do what we do. Period. So
No, we really do give up a lot of family time, 100%. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
like me and Jeff Miller's been together for 25 years, and his wife's been a big part of it, Melanie, and even my wife Carla. But you miss a lot of family time. I did. Like, I had a sickness. Like, I loved racing so much that I missed a lot of even my kids' birthday parties and stuff because I went racing. Uh, was it right or wrong? I don't know. I just got a sickness. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, even Chad talked about the early days of the NMCA and stuff, NSCA, when me and Jeff was together running the Viper, and it wasn't just the racing. I'd come home and we housed the car at locally, and I would drive an hour one way 6 nights a week to work on that freaking car at Jeff's house. So a lot of time. Like, I would work all day till 3, 4, 5 o'clock, drive an hour, work till at Jeff's house till 9 or 10, and then drive an hour home every night just so we could go race. And then it all turned into Pro Modified, and away we go with Gene Pilot, coming involved, because when Gene got involved, it was a deal. I didn't feel like I could keep up with the Joneses, so Gene came in to buy it, and his deal was to. I'm going a little off subject, but at the end of the day, this is how Gene got involved with us. He came to buy a car to race, and he came in and bought our program. And we said, "Look, you're buying a top 4, 5 car," and he come in. He's like, "Yeah, I want to buy, but I want to drive, but I don't race for number 2, 3, 4. I race for number 1." So anyway, we get everything. We go out and we win the next race, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of like a crack addict, I called it, and it's like injecting him with the thing. He's like, "Oh my goodness, we done won. That was easy," and it's not easy.
no.
And Gene tried to drive the car the following day, and we'll leave it at it didn't go so well. Gene rolls out of the car about 300 feet on the racetrack, and he's like, "I'm not doing this, you crazy bastard. You're going to drive." So
And the rest is history with that.
the rest is history. So, that's kind of
Yeah.
how Gene Pilot got involved with us. And he realized that he said, "I realize I'm going to own the car. We're going to have the best of the best, and we're going to win, period." And he sacrificed a lot at home as well with his business and wife, and Jess drags along with him, and here she is. She's out here doing a great job, videoing everyone, and she's turned in just to being a great videographer for everyone. She puts a lot of time and effort into it. And if you'd have told me that 5 years ago when Gene got involved, I would have said there ain't no way that's going to happen. No way. But it's turned into a absolute great deal for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Any sponsors you guys want to give a shout out to before we end this thing?
Jess, go with it.
Me?
You're
That's
the sponsor.
your job, bud.
All right. Obviously, G-Force race cars. Let's go ahead and go with G-Force, Mike Stewicki, Chad Wright. He's all involved. We got that whole Resolution Racing
Services.
program, right? We got Liberty. We have the Quick Drive guys on board.
Boar Racing Products.
Yep, Bora Racing Products with all their hat injectors and cans and everything we get from those guys. Fuel Tech's involved. ET Edits is on board. NC Pro Modder. God, I can't.
I'll
Performance.
interject. We do got to give a shout out to Straight Line Kyle.
Yes.
Without him, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And when I'm too busy with my drivers, he always provides the run, best quality, best footage ever. It helps keep everyone up to date with our program and so many drivers at the track. So huge shout out to him too.
Yeah,
sure.
that's absolutely awesome, guys. Like I said, thank you guys so much for taking the time
Absolutely.
to sit down with us. We
Yeah.
love getting to do this year after year, and hopefully we continue to do this. And Jess, we were talking about it earlier. Hopefully we'll see you guys down at World Series of Pro Mod this coming year. We really hope to be there.
We'll see you there.
Absolutely. Hey, if you guys do a thing with some tractor pullers, let me know. I'll spit in there a little bit.
Hey.
I don't want to be there for that.
Yeah. You guys need to come to a PDRA race too.
Yeah.
Over
I know it. My schedule's not gonna let me get there this time. I don't
no.
think, because pulling season's right around the corner, and so is
Right.
planting season.
I got to see one that's close to Iowa, so we'll figure that one out.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
That's right. Oh, actually, that's the big one, right? 50 grand.
Yeah, Farley, first time
Yeah,
ever.
Farley, yeah. Okay,
Yep.
cool deal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm not very internet savvy, so these guys here are teaching me all this stuff, right? I say right all the time. She chews my ass because I don't do very good with this shit. I don't even know how to set this thing up. They I got this background. I'm on with her setting all this background up, make sure everything's at the right angle, and
okay.
I got to work.
Inside baseball.
Yeah, same stuff. And I mean, I work with these two hands, and that's what we do. You know,
That's right.
We move dirt, and internet ain't my cup of tea, and I don't always answer the questions exactly proper. So
It's okay. You did good.
I can let off the button with the wheels in there and drive that bitch down there about 4
That's
miles.
all you need to do. Now go back to doing dump truck, make us some money.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. That's the key. You know, these things are monsters. It takes the whole group. I mean, that's the big thing. It takes a whole group of people to run one of these cars of this caliber. And there's 80 cars at the World Series, and the amount of people that it takes to run each one of those programs is absolutely unbelievable, that the normal person looking in from the outside cannot. I don't even know if they can comprehend the dedication that it takes to run one of these cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But y'all, that's gonna do it for us here on the Motorsports Almanac. Make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and subscribing. Our new goal is 25,000 followers across any of our platforms before the end of the year. So until
Give
then,
these guys a follow for sure, because they're doing some
Yeah.
great stuff, especially you, Jess. So
yeah, Jess is making some slick stuff. The graphic you guys are going to see on the video, she made that for us, and we're really excited for this. We will see you guys soon, and make sure you guys tune in this coming Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central. We're going to have another drag racing interview. Tommy Franklin Motorsports is going to be joining us, so we will see you guys on Tuesday night. See you later.
Thanks.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Right.